Okay, so you guys can see this. So before we write the code for this home component which we left last time, we have to write that custom hook. Remember I told you that you can make a custom hook in React, which will be a combination of use state and use effect depending on your use case, right? So we will be doing that now. We will go to this file called use songs list, which we created in the last, in the starter pack. And then we'll proceed to write import from React. And what are we importing from React? Use state and use effect. These are the two hooks that I told you about. And we will import Axios from dot slash Axios for music. And this is the Ajax part, which I guess somebody asked me in the last session. This is how you use Ajax in React in a way. So this is the function use songs list. It is a convention to make it so that every time you define a hook in React, be that a default hook which is provided in React or a custom hook which you're making yourself, you have to start the name of that function with the word use, because that tells React that whatever you are building is a React hook. Okay, so every time this is basically what will be the use of this use songs list. It will basically be used to, you will pass in the query of whatever song you are searching. This will be useful for the search component as well as the home component. Basically, from our deployed backend, whenever you want any music, if you want to search by a particular keyword or you want all the list, use songs list is the name of the hook which will be used to do that. Okay. So this is the syntax for a default variable in JavaScript. So basically, if you do not pass any query object in the function call, it will automatically assume its value to be an empty string. So that is what this line means. And now I'll show you the syntax for use state. Okay, this is a very standard syntax which you will see being followed in a lot of tutorials. You have to use state, and here this will have songs and set songs. Okay, and this will initialize as a empty array. So what does this line of code mean? The first variable here means the actual songs array. Okay, this is the first variable. The second one here, like this is the songs variable, and the other one here, the set songs, this is the setter of this variable, this reactive variable. And this obviously use state is the React hook, and this is the default value. This empty array inside is the default value. If you uh, look at it, this is the default value, because by default we want to assume that there is no song fetched from that query, because that will be told to us by the backend. That is not something that you can know in advance. So we will set it to empty by default. So basically every time now the songs variable is what you will use whenever you want to address these songs. Okay, but what's the point of this? We are not obtaining anything from the backend this way. Just a second. Sorry guys. So I hope you can hear me. Yes, you can hear me. So next we will do use effect. Okay, use effect const fetch songs. I'll first write the code and then I'll explain what's happening on, like, in this part of the code. Await axios dot get. You will find very similar to Postman, like I said. You have to use a backtick notation, because this is what is required for if you want to insert a variable inside JavaScript strings. Basically, you can think of it like a template literal. So if you want to search with this query object which you are passing on to this hook, you want to use this syntax. Then once you this data, this is basically what this line is doing is, first of all you have to put this side effect in use effect. Okay, this fetching operation in use effect, and uh, you have to go to the slash search route. If you remember, we created a slash search route where you have to pass the substring in the queue parameter, and that's what we are doing in the query object by using this backtick notation. This is called a backtick notation, where you insert a variable inside a string. Okay, and the result we are getting in this data object. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and set the songs to be equal to this data variable. Okay, the reason we can't do something like songs equals to data, this is wrong. Okay, this is wrong because this is not a normal variable. Songs is a reactive variable. Okay, so that's not how it will work. And we have just defined the function. We have to call it somewhere also. So we will call it here in the use effect only. We'll call it. And the other special part of use effect is that you have to pass in the dependencies. Okay, this part is called this array which you are passing here. This array is called dependencies. Okay, so what do I mean by dependencies? Anything which changes, anything whose change would cause use effect, or not would cause but should cause, to be honest, like to be very fair, should cause use effect to be called again, deserves to be a dependency. Okay, okay, so what do I mean by that? Every time the query object would be passed to me from this use songs list, every time the query object changes, I would want the API to fetch it the whole data again and then give me the result, right? Because if you think about it, let's say I have searched for a song called 21, but I'm getting the data for something else, right? I want every time my query changes, the data to be changed and given back to me with the new data, right? So query is a dependency. Okay, you can't have uh, live searching kind of a thing without passing query as a dependency. So you should note that. Uh, Finally, you have to return songs because at the end of the day, this is a function and you have to return that value. So what will happen here is you have made a custom hook which will, in the initial stages when the component is like it is not done fetching the data of the song, it will, this songs variable which we are returning right here in the 24th line, this will pass an empty array. But as soon as this fetching is complete and the data is complete, data is populated, the songs variable will change and will cause a re-render in the actual calling component, if you understood that. Because use songs list won't be does not have any independent use, it has to be called from somewhere. So there, instead of having an empty songs array, later on, when the fetching is completed, when the response is received, it will become a populated songs array. Okay. So we will export default use songs list and import it in the home page. Okay, the home page of the app. I hope all of you understood this part. If you have any doubts, do let me know. Let's go ahead and code the home.js part. Meanwhile, I am looking at the chat, so if anybody has any doubts, I'd be more than glad to answer. Okay, so in the component, I'll show you a cool thing. Const songs equals to use songs list. I think the reason you're getting await as an error in your code is because we have not written async here. Have you written async here? Just please check once. Use songs list. And if I do console log of songs, you would notice that the app will it will print all the songs. I'll do an npm start so that the preview starts on my React app. So do I want to use another port? No. Just a second. I think my application is already running. Okay. So use songs list is undefined obviously because I haven't imported it. Uh, we have to go back and import it from the helpers. Yes. So once we save this and we go back to our browser, where is my browser? Okay. Localhost 3000. So if I go and check out my console, it should ideally show me an array of 15 songs, like you can see. See, first of all, when it rendered, it had 0 songs, okay? Because, like I said, it would have 0 elements at the start, but once the data fetching is complete, it would populate it and re-render the component. That is the power of React. So once the fetching is complete, you will see we have the all the songs which we inserted in our backend. They are now part of the front end. So if the person who was asking about how Ajax is done, this is how you do Ajax in React. Um, Now we'll focus on rendering them. Like we got the data, we have it in our component in this variable called songs. Now all we have to do is to render it, right? So now let's focus on writing the code for rendering this. Could you show that async code for a second? Yeah, sure. Otherwise, it's also available on our docdiff. So that's the code for async. This is the use songs list code. Okay, cool. Uh, so on the home page, I'll delete this old useless code. We have this div. Okay. Now I'll import another component called link from React Router DOM. What is the use of the link tag? You would see that a lot of React apps have a very smooth transition between their pages, right? There is not a proper reload which happens every time you load a page. So if you use link instead of a hyperlink, this link tag is a custom link. So you don't use a normal A tag in React anymore. So the transfer between pages is very smooth compared to a normal A tag. So we will use this link too, and we want every time you click on this search icon, you remember the top right, in the top right we had a search icon in the home page. We are writing the code for that. So we'll create a link, and in that we will have a feather icon like we had this previously also. We'll use another feather icon which is I think called search. Import feather icons React, and the name of that icon is search, like I said. Okay, and I'll need a few more class names which is required for styling purposes, purely styling purposes. There's no logic or JavaScript behind it. You need to add some padding. P3 add some padding. Dflex makes it basically display flex, which is a flex box, which is a CSS concept. I'll try to explain that very briefly. So you should now have a search icon in the top right. See, you have a search icon in the top right. And as soon as I click it here, I enter the search component. So this is the search, how you go to search. So what Flexbox basically does is when you enter stuff in DOM by default, things like all the block level elements, they try to stack one after the other. But if you use Flexbox, it basically turns it around and makes it very flexible, because I wanted to push the elements towards the right end of the. I wanted to push this search icon to the right end, so I made it a Flexbox, and then I justified the content towards the end. So that's what that line means. And you need to study how to write Bootstrap code to be able to understand how to write this code, because obviously you need practice. uh, Container, MX Auto, MT5, right? So container basically puts the whole code in a neat kind of a marginalized kind of a container, so that there is enough space on both ends, even on very large screens. Uh, then MX Auto means equal amount of margin on both ends in on the x-axis, and MT5 means I want around 5 space units of margin top, obviously on the top. Uh, so now we have H1, which is the heading. Okay, you need H1 for heading. And what do I want for a heading? I'll call it latest songs. Okay, you can write anything here if you want. You want trending songs, you can write trending songs as well. And again, I will use Flexbox in the next step to put those album arts which we are using on the home page, right? So if you go to music app, if you go to this music app istweb.app, we have a lot of tiles of album arts. So we will now be working on making this. So right now we will just have the data. So we will, you guys, I think you all know about for loop in Python, right? So for loops we can also do in React in a way, and that is here called map. Instead of a for loop or something, it is called a map, because in exchange for every element in that array, you get a corresponding JSX expression, or you can say a JSX element in return. So now we will write the for loop for that, because you don't know tomorrow how many elements you are going to get. So it's better to write a proper for loop for it, so that tomorrow you don't get you so that you don't have to hard code anything. The songs can be increased or decreased at their own liberty. uh, Moving on, we have the class names that we have to assign to this part are row, justify, content, around. Basically this gives nearly equal space around the different tiles that we are putting. Now we will do a map. Like I said, we will do a for loop. This is the kind of a for loop. So you get songs.map. Basically, you're mapping around the songs array, and for each song that you get, you have to return a certain JSX expression. Okay, what are we returning? We are returning a link. Like I said, we have to return a hyperlink, because every time you click on any tile of that music, it should take you to the corresponding music player. So that's why we are having a link here. And where should that link go to? It should go to backtick play dollar song dot underscore id. Why do I write underscore id at like song dot underscore id? Because we have to convey somehow what is the id of that particular song that we want to play to that web page. Okay, so this is the way we do that. uh, Here also we will require some class names, obviously, for styling, so that images don't overflow. Let's say some image might be very big, some might be very small. This code that I'm about to write right now will help in styling and sizing that tile. Call 5, call MD4, and call LG 3. I hope if you would find this very easy if you know Bootstrap in advance. So key will be again be song dot underscore id. Basically, why you need a key is that React, in order to get a performance improvement, uh, so that let's say right now you have 15 elements in a row, and for some reason one element disappears, it becomes 14. Instead of actually going and removing and re-adding every single element again, React is smart enough to realize, understand if there is a change in the key. If one key disappears, React will smartly compare what key has changed or been removed, and it will only affect that part of the code and not touch the others. And this would help in performance gain. That's why for every map, for every song dot map or any sort of map that you do, on the top level element, you have to always pass a key. Otherwise, it will give you a warning. It won't crash or anything, but it will give you a warning. Now I will use an image tag because obviously the album arts are images. And from where do I get the image? Obviously from the song object, because we have already created it in our Node.js backend, which we have gotten the information for. Class name, like I said, width 100. Instead of writing it in CSS, you can just use W100 to span the element across the full width. Okay. So because image is a self-closing tag, you can close it like this. You don't have to do something like closing slash image, because that is not required. Okay. You don't need that. You can just close it like that. It's a self-closing tag. Otherwise, if you don't close it at all, then React will give you an error, because the JSX structure would break. The alt tag is required for people, with visual disabilities and all that, who can't actually see pictures that well. So instead of having them see this picture of the album art, I'll instead give the name of that song as an alternate attribute. Okay. Now let's have the heading, the title of that track. What is the name of that song? So here the heading 6 is basically a small heading, not a very big heading. I'll close this so that I get the corresponding closing tag. I'll add some top margin to that heading, and I'll make the bottom margin to 0. This is, you can tweak around these parameters according to your liking. This is what I found to be good enough for our purposes. I'll do song.name. I'll show the name of the song, and I think you will be having some output right now. See, we are already getting quite a bit of output already. So let's add the artist name as well. So what I'll do actually is I'll close this and I'll code along with you so that you can see what difference even one line of React code makes. See, I'll only make the change in one line of React, but it will actually reflect across all the different tiles because of that map function that we're using. And this is much more efficient, or you can say the much more easy to do as a developer compared to actually going and editing 6 different or 20 different places in HTML. That would be very hard to do. So I'll use a small tag. Small is basically for small text. Class name here would be text dash muted, or you can say text hyphen muted. And you will have, you'll have to pass, see what will happen as soon as I enter song dot artist and hit save. The artist name will automatically start reflecting here. You see the Actuarians, the T Nasty, or Unknown Brain, or all that. So even one line of code can make a lot of difference in the home page, you can say, and that completes our home page as well. Uh, so now you can literally go and click on any of these tiles, and it will take you to. Let's see what the idea of dancing in the rain is. It is this, because we have already passed it in the URL. See, this is the MongoDB ID which the MongoDB backend is giving you, and we are passing that in the URL so that in this new page we can use this to actually see what is happening, to get the ID of this song and then fetch based on that. Remember, we made a route which allowed you to fetch data of one single song instead of fetching data of all songs. This is where you will use that route, right? Uh, next up we have the home page is done.